Greetings and salutations, scholars. Welcome to the 11th episode of the Scholars with a Capital S podcast. My name is Eli Engler. I am one of your co-hosts, joined today by my co-host, Rachel Listowski, and our very special guest, Justin Frank. It's been a bit of a running gag on some of our previous podcasts that we talk about Justin every episode. We finally got the man, the myth, Justin Frank on the podcast. Say hi to everyone.
But not the legend.
Not the legend.
Just the man and the myth.
Not yet. We'll see after the podcast if you earn that title.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Well, we're glad to have you. We're going to start off this podcast like we do every podcast. I want you to give me a 60-second elevator pitch of who Justin Frank is.
All right, I have my watch here. Okay, I am a dreamer, a lover. That's actually the first line of a poem I wrote in like 4th grade. I am a junior here studying chemistry and theater. I love theater. I've been doing it since 3rd grade. I've done a lot of acting and things like that, and I really enjoy getting to know people, getting involved in the community. I do ballroom dance here at Binghamton. I'm part of the Disney Broadway a cappella group, No Strings Attached, the coolest a cappella group on campus.
Can confirm, yes.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Normally I say that and I get laughs, but here it's taken seriously. I am the Vice President of Member Relations for the Scholars Program currently, so I plan events for the upperclassmen, which is always a lot of fun. And then I'm also the hiring coordinator for the tour guide program. So I do a lot of the hiring of the tour guides. I make interview questions, and I answer a lot of emails. And I send a lot of emails, yeah. And I think that's about me. Oh, I have some dogs and some cats whom I love very much. Oh, and of course my family.
I was going to say, what about your family?
No, just the dogs and cats.
Yeah.
That's okay. Was that 60 seconds?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was actually timing it, guys. Like, it was a very serious affair. So, as we stated, you're a podcast celebrity here.
A super fan.
Which means you should be prepared for the next question, because we ask almost every guest this question. But why did you choose to go to Binghamton, and what role did scholars play in that decision?
Yeah, this is a great question. And I want to answer this very honestly. I want to be totally honest for you guys on the podcast.
Here.
Yeah, so I applied to a ton of like private schools and Ivies, and then Binghamton as like a safety, because in high school I took 15 AP courses. I was involved in as many clubs as I could, and I was in an international choir where I was doing leadership, and I was in the All-Eastern choir. I did as many things as I could to try to have this like great college application. And so when I didn't get into anywhere besides Binghamton and Geneseo was another SUNY I applied to, I was really upset because like my senior year, I was there, I was taking like 5 APs, there the entire day in school while all my other friends were leaving, going to the beach, cutting class. And what did I have to show for it, right? I said like, geez, I could have just taken it easy for my whole college career. Not that Binghamton's, easy to get into, but compared to what I was doing, I didn't have to do all that excess.
Yeah.
And so when I got into the scholars program, that gave me a little bit of peace of mind where I was like, okay, my efforts were recognized, that what I did. And of course I recognized that taking the classes was good for me because I learned a lot, and I had a nice work ethic and good study habits out of it. But the scholars program was really helpful just for me to understand that, the work that I did do in high school meant something, and I definitely feel appreciated for that in the program. And so, yeah, that definitely was a big thing. I mean, also, so I wandered around Geneseo, I wandered around Binghamton. This was during the peak of COVID, so there were no tours.
Yeah.
But my cousin Michael went to Binghamton, and so he kind of played tour guide. And so I think that was also a very helpful thing. Yeah. And so that's why being a tour guide is nice.
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing that for other students.
I think there's got to be an alternate universe where your cousin Michael went to Geneseo and he gave you the tour there.
and then you went to Geneseo instead.
We never meet you. You're
Maybe.
But
I think in that universe, I'm a much less happy Justin.
Wow.
And less cool.
Yeah, maybe.
No, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Jeez.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you for that honest and insightful answer. And I think it speaks to a lot about like the current college admissions process, as you can feel like you're doing everything and you're still not good enough.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you end up at Binghamton in the scholars program, you're pretty damn good.
You're pretty cool. Pretty dope.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, and of course I know lots of people that are also very cool and not even in the scholars program.
That's a great point. Yeah.
But Binghamton, I so many of the people I've met here are really awesome.
Yeah. Ditto that. So we want to talk a little bit now about your first year at Binghamton. And so
Sure.
one of my first memories of you was you were running for like president of Broom Hall.
Yes.
And you were kind of campaigning a little bit. You maybe had a suit on. There were
Yeah,
some
yeah.
Post-it
We put
notes.
Post-it notes on the
Frank
second
for-
floor
In the
common room.
windows,
Yeah.
yeah.
Frank for Prez.
So I'm curious what inspired you to run for the president of Broom Hall, and what was your experience with that, or maybe some of your favorite things you did, or least favorite things, I don't know.
Yeah, wow. I mean, this is a big question, just being that it was so long ago. You know, I'm an old man now. Okay, so why did I run for president? I think, so going back to high school, I always wanted to get involved.
Yeah.
You know, and I did kind of say that I did it for colleges. I also think that's just how I am.
Yeah.
You know, where
It's-
I'm always
it's
getting
just
involved.
in your DNA.
Yeah, and so when I saw that posting, you know, they're looking for the different council, I spoke with some friends and we were like, yeah, wouldn't it be kind of funny? You know, wouldn't it be cool? And I guess as a first year, you never think you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's like all first years in the building anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had that campaign going. Sometimes people, I would introduce myself to people in the building and they'd be like, oh, are you like Frank? You know, because they'd see my name in the window. But it was great and we won and it was
Like
a
how
nice
you
time.
say we, like it was a team effort.
It was.
Yeah, I think it was a team
effort.
That's funny. You're right, though. I didn't really have like a cabinet running with me, but no, I really did.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't put up those Post-it notes. I don't want to like sound like that I had these servants doing it for me. But no, it was like, you know, everyone was kind of in on it.
Club.
Well, no. It was the friend group. It wasn't a fan
Yes,
club.
yes, the fan club.
We were all friends that would hang out in the second floor common room, and yeah, I was gonna represent that. You know,
Yeah.
and we did. Yeah. Okay, and so you said favorite memories.
Yeah.
Or least favorite memories?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll do a favorite. I think it's more... also, a least favorite doesn't jump out. But definitely...
That's good,
okay, I have two.
Okay.
Chronologically, first was the Goblet of Fire spoof that we did.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so okay, now I'll
Yeah.
give the context.
Oh my god.
We were looking for a tradition coming out of COVID, and we wanted something for Broom Hall, right? We thought Broom Hall, broom, you know, sweeping, no, dusting, probably not. And then we thought about Harry Potter, and we created the Broom Hall Quidditch Cup. And the we in this is the entire committee. So, you know, we had a VP of diversity, equity, and inclusion, of academic affairs, of finance, you know, so we would all meet and brainstorm. And so we created this Broom Hall Quidditch Cup. We got as many people to sign up as we could. And the number was not that high. But we had a lot of fun. We spray painted a broom gold to be the trophy, and that people could sign their names on if they won. But leading up to the event, we were going to have this like really spooky Goblet of Fire ceremony where if you were going to be participating the next day, you would write your name on a slip of paper and throw it into the fire. And we made s'mores. And I put a sweatshirt on, like, backwards, that way my face was concealed, and I hid in the woods while everyone walked over to the fire pit, and, you know, the fire was already going, and I, like, climbed out of some ivy, and I spoke in a really, like, scary, spooky voice, I think. And then we made some s'mores. We threw our names into the fire. Yeah. And so that was really fun. And then the next day was the Quidditch Cup, and that was great playing Quidditch. And I was doing some play-by-play for some of the day. Yeah, we'd gotten BSSL, the Binghamton Soundstage and Lighting, to set up audio. So we were blasting music to the entire quad, but also, you know, doing some fun announcing. So
yeah, that was I was in that game. I was on the championship team.
That's
the
true.
inaugural
Yeah,
championship team. And you just unlocked some core memories with that. The Goblet of Fire, that was hilarious. That was awesome.
Yeah. And I remember in our setup for that, all right, this is my least favorite memory, I guess. My setup for that, we forgot a lighter.
Oh my!
It was horrifying. I'd gone and I bought logs, and I filled this massive like Gatorade cooler with water that we could dump on the fire afterwards. I brought the paper, I brought pencils, all the equipment for s'mores, but I never thought to bring a lighter. So people were already gathering for the event in the Broom Hall Great Room, and then they were going to descend to the fire pit. And I was texting people to delay. I was like, guys, wait, you know, I need to call and see if anyone has a lighter. So I was just calling around desperately, trying to find a way to actually start the fire. And we made it happen. Okay. Fire was started. Yeah, I think a magnifying glass in the sun, we were able to get it going.
Oh, I was going to say, you know, the magic with the wizards.
Oh, it was the magic of the wizards. No, it was actually a lighter. I'm just joking. Yeah. I don't think I'm that skilled with a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
I can't believe that was so long ago.
Yeah.
I so vividly remember I did not participate in the Quidditch game because I was afraid of being physically attacked with a broom.
Yeah,
But
fair.
I did watch from the side, and that was a great day. Just absolutely hilarious. Because you also had to construct, like, the goalposts.
Yeah, the hoops, yeah.
And that was just, like, an event in and of itself, I feel like. So.
Oh, it was. Yeah, we went to the fab labs, the fabrication labs for the engineering building.
Yeah.
We were, like, sawing PVC pipes with this hacksaw. And it was a really terrible, difficult process. And then people were looking at us like, who the hell are these kids, cutting PVC pipe and, like, trying to glue them back together.
Well, as we discussed your obsession with leadership positions,
Oh, okay.
you already noted currently that right now you're the VP of Member Relations on the Scholars Council,
Yeah.
which means you're actively still planning events for all of us scholars now that we're all old and geriatric. So I wanted to know why you decided to run.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, why did I decide to run? Well, I've always loved going to the Scholars events. And one thing that's really cool about the Scholars program over, like, when I'm working with my a cappella group is we have a non-zero budget, which is nice. Not that my a cappella group has a zero budget, but, our finances are pretty tight. And so the concept of planning events with, a real program that, can fund things was really exciting to me. And we've been able to do that. I'm proud. I've spent a lot of the Scholars Program's money.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, but on good things. Always on good things. I think my favorite event so far has been the painting night.
That was great.
Yeah, so we all went to a painting studio, and we painted a nice winter landscape. I was able to get some food, and I got as much food as possible given my budget. This is how my events go. But they've been I think successful. So far, I've been happy. And we still have more coming. We're trying to get something going with the Copernic Observatory, but their events are on Fridays. Like they have big nights on Fridays, and I think like the past 3 Fridays have all been raining, so we can't actually view the night sky through them. So we just keep postponing and postponing. But we'll get there someday.
Dreary Binghamton.
Yeah.
So depressing.
Yeah, well, it's been sunny other days of the week, for the record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just been the Fridays.
It's just Friday.
It was a beautiful day yesterday, and then now it's going to rain, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably.
Yeah. It's funny because you actually answered my next question inadvertently. So I was going to ask you what your favorite event was. I'm going to answer it myself and say I loved when we went to the hockey game. That was really
the
fun.
Black Bears game, yeah.
Yeah, and you did like this like sports gambling thing, and not with real money, I should say. It was with like fake money and to like win Scholars merch, whoever did the best. It was a lot of fun and really creative, and I was like, wow, that it could have just been a hockey game, but you took it to the next level, and I was really impressed.
Justin
thank you.
Frank, always elevating.
Yeah, he goes above and beyond.
It's true.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for that one, I spent a lot of my printing dollars. That was good. I printed a ton of Baxter bucks currency. And most of what I really didn't need as much as I printed. I totally overshot.
Just save it. It'll be worth something someday.
Yeah, maybe. I've been giving it out to people. People see it. They're like, oh, that's so cool. What is it? And I say, well, it doesn't mean anything anymore. But I have like, a few million if you want.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah, right?
I mean, like maybe as you continue to haggle with the Scholars Office to get more money for your events, you can just propose that you trade your Baxter bucks for the real cash.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Yeah, but maybe I could get some way to back them. Like, I'll back them with, like, pebbles or something.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
They're backed by Scholars merch currently, right? That is
value.
officially what they're valued at. Yeah.
So maybe you can just raid the closet.
Yeah, I'll
them in,
break in at night. I will not break in at night for anyone listening.
No, he will. Watch out, guys. You're going to show up with your backward hood again.
Yeah, just like I was with the Goblet of Fire.
Exactly. So we talked about favorite events. Personally, mine was karaoke, which was a great time.
Oh, yeah, karaoke.
Also partially my idea, but not to toot my own horn. It's okay. But I think in the past, we've noted with the program that engagement kind of falls off after those like first 2 years when like everyone's going to events and then everyone kind of stops. And I feel like you've been really successful in bringing back an upperclassmen engagement. You've been, making more events than really have been done in the past for them. So I was wondering, what your opinion was on how to keep upperclassmen engaged in the program.
And
yeah.
What are some like ways the upperclassmen can stay engaged beyond just going to events, perhaps?
Yeah, both awesome questions. So, I guess first I'll answer Rachel's question. I think my prevailing philosophy, and this ties back into the Black Bears game, is I want to create experiences that you couldn't just do on your own. You know, so upperclassmen have cars. You're living downtown, so they could go to a Black Bears game.
Yeah.
They could go to karaoke on the Grove. But what could the Scholars Program provide that makes it a little bit more special? Right, so sometimes, like in the painting studio, that involves sponsoring the cost of it, right, which is very fundamental but helpful, especially for college students.
Yeah.
And then it may be getting some food, you know, is always like a good starting point. But then what it was for the Black Bears game, it was, okay, how can we make a hockey game more exciting than if you were to just go with your friends?
Yeah.
And so now we have, you know, this sort of fun, spirited, you know, betting and just kind of luck-based, you know, what are we rooting for? Especially since the Black Bears game is probably a game you're going to where you don't care so much about who wins. You know, I'm not personally like a diehard Black Bears fan, but by putting some, you know, Baxter bucks on the line, we create a more special experience.
Yeah.
You know, because even the notion of just, oh, it'll be the Scholars Program together, you know, and banking on the upperclassmen going as friends, they can still go with their friends.
Yeah, they don't need the program.
Yeah, right. We don't need, and which is great that people are building connections within the program too. I mean, I think that's a victory nonetheless.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have that, you know, associated with the Scholars Program still.
Yeah.
You know, and have our upperclassmen appreciating and being more aware of the things that we have to offer. And then as far as ways upperclassmen get involved, well, firstly is how I've gotten involved, right, on the Scholars Council.
Yeah.
It's an awesome experience. It's a great way to work with, you know, some more legit programming, you know, because we have nice budget, we have great professional staff. You know, I'm regularly talking to Professor Steve and Catherine Bowman about what they think for events. And a lot of these events, another event that I'm planning, actually for some first years, okay, this is, like, no one knows about this yet besides my committee. Yeah.
Secret info.
But, and no one will know about it by the time this airs, too, I think.
Okay.
So,
do you want to share?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna give a hint. Yeah.
Okay.
But so we're working on a kind of like induction promotion ceremony for our first years, right? Bringing them into upperclassmanhood.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a cool ceremony. You know, maybe not quite resembling the Goblet of Fire, but something new and cool. And this was kind of an idea from Catherine Bowman. She wanted to see more of that, you know, kind of cool spooky event going on.
Yeah.
So
That's
so
awesome.
we're really excited for that. But yeah, so that's a way that upperclassmen get involved in the council. Of course, in teaching, I mean, Eli can you know certainly talk about teaching a scholars course now.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's definitely a new program that we're starting. But I think it's been pretty successful, you know, and we'll look for ways to continue to grow it for people to be interested in that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good answers all around. I'm curious, kind of on that same note. Within the Scholars Program as a whole, what has been your favorite part? Kind of what's your favorite aspect of the program?
All right, yeah, so my favorite part of the program, I think, it is such a cliche answer. I don't want to just say the people, right? But I want to say that the connections I've been afforded, you know, in connecting not just with students, but with the faculty, you know, with Professor Steve and Catherine Bowman, but also my professional mentor, Dr. Kelly K. Smith. You know, she's been great just meeting with people that have been in Binghamton for a longer period than I have.
Yeah.
Because I get their wisdom. A lot of times, you know, especially with clubs that are entirely student run, every 4 years there's like the loss of the generation, right? There's not that generational understanding that happens. We look at the constitution for our organization and we say, why was it like that? Then we change it and then we're like, oh shoot, that's definitely why it was like that. And so being in the Scholars Program and doing planning for the Scholars Program has been great because there are people that are sticking around that are able to help the program continue upwards as opposed to just being in that same 4-year loop that you sometimes get with just student-run organizations.
Definitely. Good answer.
That was a great answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Very eloquent.
Yeah, I think about these things all the time because I listen to the podcast avidly, right? And just then I role play, I think.
Yes, you're like, but I would say this.
Yeah, right.
But now it's real. You're not role playing anymore.
The dream has come true.
It is true. And so once again, I am throwing a question at you that you should know.
Okay.
As an avid listener of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of discussed something great about the program, but if you could change one thing about the scholars program, what would it be?
Yeah, another heavy hitter. I think I think about this one a lot, especially leading up to my approach on the podcast. And the answer is something that I've been working on, with some of the faculty here, but bringing back some of the bigger trips for upperclassmen.
Oh, yeah.
So potentially overnight trips or even just like trips down to New York City or Philly. I'm always, as I said in my previous answer, thinking of things that the Scholars Program can do that, students can't just do on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, and if we could go to Philadelphia and eat some cream cheese and visit the Liberty Bell, that's my dream.
Philly
And-
cheesesteak.
Yeah, Philly cheesesteak. Yeah, that's probably
More than
better
just
than
cream
just the cream cheese.
cheese.
I
Yeah.
had to take the cream cheese.
But yeah, so I think that's a more feasible one. That hopefully we'll be able to do soon, even if it's not overnight, but just doing a nice day trip.
Yeah.
And then someday we'll get to Beijing or beyond.
Okay, so we're going to shift away from the Scholars Program a little bit and kind of go back to your elevator pitch. You mentioned a few extracurriculars that were really kind of cool and I think unique. And so I'm curious how you got involved in a cappella and ballroom and tour guiding. Yeah.
Okay, so just all of them?
Yeah, you speed run it if you want. Yeah.
Speed run?
Or pick one and talk about it more. Whatever interests you most.
You're just too multifaceted,
You
Justin.
got too much to talk about.
All right. We'll do a speed run. I like talking quickly. Ballroom dance. I've always danced in theater, right? Never ballroom, but I was on a list of all of the clubs Binghamton has to offer on the website. And I was scrolling through, and B for ballroom came pretty early. And so I wasn't so fatigued. I was actually reading through the clubs at that point. And they had this general interest meeting outdoors. They were teaching some cha-cha, and I felt so cool. I was like, oh my God, I know how to cha-cha now. Put me on Dancing with the Stars. And I would go and I would teach other people the cha-cha, and I'd show my mom. I FaceTime my mom. I was like, Mom, look at me do the cha-cha. And so then I tried out for the team, and I got on, and I've been doing it ever since. Yeah, okay, good. Now we'll move on. No strings attached, a cappella. At that point, I was already doing ballroom dancing, and I don't know if I was president of Broom Hall yet, but I was like, a cappella would be a lot to add, right? And so I didn't plan on doing it. And I didn't go to the Dollar Show, which is like this big show where you learn about the different a cappella groups. But that night, I was hanging out with some friends, and one friend mentioned, it was Iris DeFino, she mentioned that No Strings Attached, the Disney Broadway group, performed Phantom of the Opera. Like the song Phantom of the Opera from Phantom of the Opera. And I said, oh, that must have been terrible, right? And she was like, no, it was so good. And I said, shoot, I have to do that, right? I have to audition for that group. And so I decided we have 10 a cappella groups here. The next day were auditions. I was only going to audition for NSA, right? And then if I got in, it meant I was supposed to do it. If I didn't get in, then that was it. That was the sign.
Yeah.
And you can imagine what happened. And here I am, and I was thrilled. We still perform Phantom of the Opera, and it's great. And I love it because I've always loved Broadway. And of course Disney, and going to elementary schools and preschools singing Disney songs, and nursing homes and singing Hair and Broadway classics is awesome. Okay, do we have time for the tour guides?
Yeah, go
I don't know.
for it.
All right, tour guiding. So I didn't get to tour, but Michael Oberlender, shout out. He probably doesn't even listen to this podcast, but if he ever does, he gave me the tour. And it was awesome. And I've always loved talking with people, getting to meet people, public speaking, even as a theater person. So I applied. I didn't get it my first semester, but then I applied again, and I was able to land the job. It's a very competitive position, really.
Yeah.
As someone that does the hiring now, it is still very competitive. But so I was taken on as a tour guide, and I've loved it. So I do the hiring now. We have these coordinator positions that are all student run, and so there are different application cycles where you can potentially get that promotion. But and I enjoy the hiring, and I love doing interviews, but I still, by far love giving tours.
Yeah.
The hiring stuff is nice, and it's a great way to get some more hours, make some more money. But giving the tours is definitely where my heart is, and it's such a nice experience to get to meet families and talk with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think you missed your calling as an orientation advisor too, maybe a little bit.
Maybe. Who knows? It's never too late.
For you it is a little too late.
Oh yeah, it is too late. All right. Well, then that's a regret to add to the diary.
Can you call in a favor, Eli?
I don't know if I have that pull anymore. Yeah.
All right, in another lifetime.
Yeah, I will say, if you're listening to this and you want to learn more about Justin's experience as the hiring coordinator and my experience at late night, check out the Scholars magazine. There's going to be an article about the two of us. So
Lovely.
Nice,
Yeah.
great segue to the magazine plug. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the cover of this podcast, you see the Pipe Dream newspaper. Justin is an avid reader of the newspaper, and Rachel and I both work in some capacity on the newspaper, so we thought it'd be funny for that to be the cover.
Yeah, and I do have an article that I'm planning to write someday. I'm sure I've told both of you guys about this. It's going to be a controversial article. It'll definitely, get some people angry on campus. But I want to do an expose on the top, best 10 best bathrooms on campus. There are a lot of underground choices.
I kind of love it.
Yeah,
I think.
And as someone that's going to be graduating, it's even better, right? Because there will be all these sophomores that have this great spot, and then I'm going to put it in Pipe Dream and then leave.
Ha!
Yeah, and then hey, it's better for the masses, right? I'm thinking of the masses here.
It's true.
Yeah, but is it better for the masses if the bathroom then declines because the masses are using said bathroom?
That's a good question. Yeah, tragedy of the commons, am I right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, only time will tell.
Okay, kind of wrapping up our, lovely little interview with you and our personal questions about you. What are your hobbies and interests unrelated to school? Not your essay orgs, not your jobs. What do you do when you're twiddling your thumbs at home?
Okay, when I twiddle my thumbs at home.
I mean, he's twiddling his thumbs. I answered your own question.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's my hobby. I get really fast, So I spend time with my friends, with my girlfriend Yulia. We plan dates, which is always really nice. Oh, and you know what? Okay, so this is a good one. We'll go hiking a lot. In the nature preserve. Yeah, but also we'll go over to Ithaca, by the Finger Lakes. They have great trails. And we went, I have a terrible memory for dates. At some time when it was really cold, we went to Ithaca. We went to Ithaca Falls and Buttermilk Falls. It was frigid. Oh, man. But we got hot hands, put them in our shoes, put them in our pockets, put them, behind our necks. Just any crevice, put a pack of hot hands. And it was really nice. And because the winter scene was beautiful. But also, hiking in the snow was also very tiring.
Oh,
I
sure.
bet.
Yeah.
More force you gotta apply.
Yeah, but it was really nice. And so we'll do that, go hiking, with friends, with her. With my a cappella group, we've even gone hiking. And then I also, well, you said not essay, but I've done some intramural sports
That's
over the
valid,
years. Yeah, right now we're doing slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
The Bad News Bearcats is our team name.
Justin and I, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
We're kind of like a dynamic duo. I'm trying to think of two baseball players, but I don't. A Mariano Rivera and another Yankees player. Maybe Derek Jeter.
Yeah, Derek Jeter, sure.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're the pitcher, I'm the...
Oh,
I play
true.
first base. I don't know who played first base for the Yankees, but...
Yeah, no, that's funny. Except we're maybe not quite as good.
We're almost.
Almost. Yeah,
It's-
we're almost there.
Yeah, we're the discount, the dollar store version.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like Temu version.
Oh yeah, like the team version. Yeah, nice. That's wow. That's as inexpensive and knockoff as can get.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's okay.
I don't
But
know, Rachel,
it's-
you haven't seen any games yet, so
I've
I don't
heard
really
about
think
them.
you can comment.
I've heard about it.
Well, we're the stars.
I am very sure of that.
I've gotten on base
You're carrying.
both games so far.
That's why you have
so.
any classification period, because you're pulling the weight.
Yeah, right. For the record, we live up to the name, the Bad News Bearcats. We'll let your imagination do the rest.
What the bad news is,
For which team, I'm not sure, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next segment, the recommendation rectangle. And we're going to put you a little bit on the spot here, Justin.
All
I
right.
don't even think we told you about this.
You
in
did
advance.
not. Well, but I
So-
know that the recommendation
Yeah.
rectangle is coming,
Yeah.
so I made a list of every different thing I could possibly ever recommend.
Yeah.
Favorite textbook,
Favorite textbook.
favorite color, favorite shoelace brand.
Oh, see, we haven't been that creative. We should have been thinking about things like that.
Drats.
Well, recommending a color is kind of
The color, So we're going to recommend a podcast.
Okay.
So you can go last if you want some time to
I
think.
know I have it.
You have? All right, you can go first then.
Okay. I mean, this is kind of a guilty pleasure of
Yeah.
anything. And I never thought that I would say this publicly.
Yeah.
But I do I do on occasion, sometimes on long drives, or if I'm like not feeling listening to music, or I don't know what music to listen to, I'll listen to Smosh Reads Reddit stories.
Stop.
Yeah, and it's
funny.
usually pretty interesting. I mean, the Reddit stories, they're usually pretty nuts, and like I'm sure they pick the most absurd ones, but yeah, and it's funny. They have good banter. They're pretty reasonable people. Usually a lot of the things they respond to, because they'll read like the most absurd story about like this absolutely terrible ex-wife, or the crazy family drama that's going on, and usually what they're saying is like I'll agree with it in my head.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have our disagreements. I've never written to them before though. I could.
Should.
Yeah, maybe we should email them. Say, I think your take on story 3 of why is he cheating? Ultimate Cheaters Explained episode that you missed the mark. Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my podcast.
Maybe you'd be a guest on theirs.
Oh, wouldn't that be neat?
Moving up in the world.
At one point I did have that pipeline of how I could get onto like different reality shows, but we'll see. Right now I'm more focused on like pursuing the chemistry that I'm majoring in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rachel, do you have a podcast to recommend?
I do. I had to think really long and hard about this because I'm being honest. Some of the podcasts I listen to, I do not feel comfortable recommending on this podcast. But something about me, I really like video games, and so there's this super like random, like definitely doesn't have a lot of viewers like podcast called Split the Veil, and it's like these two people, and they talk about like the inside scoop on the drama happening in BioWare, which is like a company that produces RPGs. And they'll like dig through the trenches of like Twitter and like random connections to figure out like the inner turmoil of like what's going on in the company and like the production of their video games, because they're notoriously like really rough in it in the past like 10 years or so. So sometimes when I would like go to the gym, I would just like play an episode and like find out what the tea was. And also I would be like desperately waiting for news on like the next video game that was coming out, and it kind of like kept me feeling grounded and knowledgeable. So
Wow, how much drama is going on in this company that they can fuel a whole podcast?
like a lot. Like the goal of the podcast is more so just to talk about like content created by said company.
Oh, okay.
But half of the time it's them being like, update, they fired a new batch of people, update, this really important person quit, why'd they quit? So yeah, like the turnover is pretty insane over there right now, so I'm a little concerned, but it's okay.
Interesting. All right. So I'll go last, and I could recommend like 5 podcasts because I listen to a lot. I'm just gonna, also I like basketball, and so I listen to a few basketball podcasts, and one of the sillier ones, it's called the Deep 3, TD3, and it's like kind of a goofy basketball podcast. So it's not super serious. There's a lot of like former players who have podcasts like really talk about the game, and it's not that. They're just like a couple of guys who like basketball, and what they do is they have like the first half they'll like talk basketball, and the second half they'll have TikTok time, where they play like games like our game time, and they make like TikToks out of it. So that's kind of what inspired the whole format of this podcast. That we have like an interview, and then we have like a game time like they do.
Very cool.
I want to give credit where credit's due to the Deep 3.
And so what's been like your favorite game that you've seen on
Favorite game? Oh, so they do a lot of like drafts. So every episode they do like a draft.
It's
so
like an Italian food draft.
Like an Italian food draft, but they do like drafting the best lineup or drafting like your like player attributes to make like the ultimate player, things like that.
Oh, that's cool. So,
yeah. So those are 3 new podcasts for you to go and listen to, in addition to this one, obviously. Scholars with a capital S, the best podcast ever made.
Yeah, and all very different podcasts too.
Yeah, I like
we
that.
have like, family drama, video games, and basketball.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so it is time for game time, which I just alluded to.
Okay.
And today we're going to give Justin the superfan test for Scholars with a capital S. Can he name all of the podcast guests that we've had on so far?
Oh, well, that's easy.
And can you do it in order?
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So episode 1,
in order.
Who was on episode 1?
Episode 1, Eli and Rachel. Let's meet the co-hosts.
Correct. No guest. Episode 2.
Episode 2 is Lauren Squared.
That was episode 3.
No,
yeah.
okay, wait. You need to give me, don't reveal it yet.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, man. Oh, God. All right, episode 2. Now I'm like panicking. You have me nervous. right. So I'm going to talk through my process.
Yeah.
So, not Catherine Braco, not Steve, not Catherine Bowman, nor Harvey, nor Morella. Raya Bolander was later. Becca Carpenter was later. But this
Named
is
every single guest besides the second one.
yeah. Wow. It's someone. Oh, Derek Weisberg.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you've already named every guest. Now, can you put them in order?
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got 1, 2.
yes,
I told you.
Yes, Derek Weisberg, and then we have Lauren Squared is third.
Yeah.
All right, and so then fourth, we took it. Oh man! All right. So, I'm trying to remember because Harvey Stanger was a big one. Okay, I think I'm gonna try to classify this based on like first half, second half.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Harvey closed the first half. Don't indicate. All right. Eli made a face, so I know something's going to miss. All right, so.
Could have been a
God.
good face. You'll never know.
Yeah, maybe it was a good face.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have no one, Derek, Lauren Squared.
Yeah.
Fourth, I'm going to go with Catherine Braco.
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Whew. All right, I can breathe. And then after Catherine, I'm pretty sure we begin a decent streak of our heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm.
First, so we had Catherine Bowman, Steve, and Harvey. Not in that order. Because I know Harvey Stanger was before Professor Steve. Okay, they're making really big. Eli he should leave the room for this because this is.
Well, I'm trying to help you a little bit.
Yeah. We
Just
should have
so
put
you
a time limit on this.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'll just
I'm
go.
impressed that you got every guest. First of all,
Oh,
that was
well.
kind of the question, but now it's the challenge mode. Can you do?
Yeah,
them
I mean
better?
this. This is
You
tough.
just gotta think about it logically.
Oh
Is there a
yeah.
logical-
I'm just not.
I think
I'm
it's
just not being
logical.
smart enough right
No,
now. That's
you're
what
not.
it
You're not
is.
being very scholarly.
Okay. All right. Fine. I'm gonna put myself in Eli and Rachel's minds, and so naturally we start alone, and we go to Derek Weisberg, and then Lauren Squared, and then Catherine Braco. The next one, logically, is Catherine Bowman. No. Then the
You're
next
close.
one, logically, must be Professor Steve.
Yes.
That's correct. Professor
Okay.
Steve was 5.
Okay, it was Professor Steve, 5.
And then 6.
And then 6, I really do think this was Harvey Stanger.
No,
It was Catherine Bowman?
it was Catherine Bowman.
Wow. You know what it was? I fell behind at one point, and then I was listening to them, just like playing catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lately I've been like week to week, so I know that it was Morella before me, and then it was Becca, and then it was Raya before that. All right.
Yeah.
So all right,
All right, so you
we're
pretty
sending
much-
this home. We're sending this
Yeah.
home.
You got it.
So, no one, Derek, Lauren Squared, Catherine Braco, Professor Steve, Catherine Bowman, Harvey Stanger,
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
and then kicking off season 2, this was Raya Bolander,
That's correct.
right? And then we had Raya Bolander, Becca Carpenter, Morella Fernandez, Justin Frank.
Very good.
Correct.
Very impressive.
All right.
I will say I was able to do it, but I think that's because I had to
What?
upload all of them.
Oh yeah, I mean
So I
that's,
know the order very,
Yeah,
very specifically. But
I think of the Beatles song. I get by with a little help from my friends.
there you go.
True.
Yeah.
And I understand what your logic was when I said to think about it logically, but your error was that you weren't thinking about who the guests are, and it is much easier to get Professor Steve to gab on a podcast than it is Catherine Bowman.
Ah, that's what it is. I needed to
That
think
was
of
the problem.
who would do the podcast. Yeah, yeah.
But either way, I'm still very impressed that you know all of the guests.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
No, the fact that you rattled them all off at the start, and I was like, wow,
Yeah. I mean, there really haven't been so many podcasts,
Yeah.
because every 2 weeks I'm on the edge of my seat by the time the next one comes out.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm waiting at midnight. I hit play. They don't drop
they
at
drop at
midnight.
8 a.m. And
Yeah.
I email them at 10 a.m. So
Yeah. No,
Fun fact.
and I'm asleep at that point, always.
Well, Eli, do you think it is fair to say that Justin is now the man, the myth, and the legend?
absolutely.
Oh, wow.
The man, the myth, the legend has been on the podcast. Justin Frank himself. Thank you so much for coming on, Justin.
Thank you so much for having me and for doing this. What
Yeah.
an awesome experiment. New scholars piece of the program,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is Scholars with a capital S.
Thank
Thank you.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the Easter egg of Justin Frank is now a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
right.
you've been listening and you wondered who is this mysterious man, you finally have gotten to know him a little
Mhm.
better.
And probably understand why he is constantly mentioned.
Yeah, he does a lot of things.
Oh, well, I'm flattered.
And thank you all for listening. And as always, it's
Scholars with a capital S.